Alright, let's look at normal distributions with this one, and I have a bunch of ne'er-do-wells in the background studying, and now they're staring at me. It's very weird. Anyway. Yes, I'm recording right now. Why? Yeah, and you get to listen to me carrying on a conversation with you. Isn't that great? Yeah, I am. Isn't that great? Huh? What? Oh, go on. Okay. Let's keep going. All right. Now, y'all are loud until I start doing this. And then all right, anyway. Normal distributions. Let's see. Here we go. Y'all can come watch. Y'all want to just come watch? I decided I got tired. I didn't want to wait and do this during 7th period, so I'm just going to go ahead and do it now. All right, let's see. So this one, we have the IQ of all the students at Spain Park. The mean IQ is 113, so I like to plot that in the middle. There's my mean. And then the standard deviation is 9, which means if you move over 9 units to the right, that would put me at 122. That first block covers 34% of the 132 students, teachers. Then if I move 9 more, that puts me at 131. That next block covers 13.5%. And then 131 plus 9 is 140. That covers 2.35%. And then we can count to the left also. So I could subtract 9, and that would put me at 104. And again, that's 34%. If I subtract 9, that puts me at 95. That covers 13.5%. Then if I subtract 9 again, that puts me at 86, which is 2.35%. And then you have like your bell curve that does something like that. Okay, so how many teachers have an IQ over 95? Okay, well, this one for over 95, here's how I do this one. 95 is right here. This is a nice problem because it is one of the standard deviation problems, or one of the standard deviation intervals. And what I can do is I can tell that from 95 to 113, 95 to 113, that actually covers 34 plus 13.5, which is 47.5% of the population. Now the other half, 50%, is all of the rest. So this is 50%. This is 47.5%. So the number of teachers who have an over a 113 IQ is 50%. And we will add those two together. And I have 97.5% of the teachers are in this category. So I will simply in the calculator do 0.975 times the number of teachers, 132, and I get 128.7. So I will do 0.975 times 32. Gave me 128.7 teachers. Technically, you can't have a part of a teacher, but you know what? If you can get that, I'll be happy. So 128.7 teachers have an IQ over 95, which is pretty good. That means there are 4 unfortunate teachers who have very low IQs, but whatever. All right, how many teachers have an IQ between 104 and 125? All right, this is where it gets a little bit more difficult. So I'm looking at 104 for my, I'm looking at 104 for my left bound. And 125, that makes it a little bit more difficult because 125 is not one of your standard deviation numbers. So I'm going from 104 to 125, which is going to be about right here. 125. Now 104 is not going to be a problem. 104, what I can do, the number of teachers who have less than 104, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply add the percentages to the left of 104, so 13.5 plus 2.35. And 13.5 plus 2.35 is 15.85. So 15.85% of the teachers have an IQ less than 104. 125 is a little bit more of a problem because I need to find out what's the percent of teachers who have less than a 125 IQ. And this is one where you're going to need to find your z-score. If the number you're looking for is not one of your nice standard deviation intervals, then you need to find the z-score. And your z-score is x minus mu divided by standard deviation. The x that I'm looking for is 125 minus the mean, which is 113, and my standard deviation is 9. And I will get a z-score of, let's see, 125 minus 113 divided by 9. I get a z-score of 1.333. Okay, then once you have your z-score, we go to the calculator and we need to find out what is the percent to the left of that z-score. So now I do norm CDF in the calculator, and we do -4 comma 1.333, and that will give you the percent that's actually less than 125. So on the TI-83, the way you would find norm CDF, you hit the catalog button. So catalog is second 0. Open up catalog, and then you can either scroll down to the end, which would take a while, or you could hit the N button, and N is above the log button. So if I hit N, I will scroll down to norm CDF, normal CDF actually, and I will simply type in -4 comma, and then my z-score was 1.333. Hit enter, and you get a normal CDF of 0.909. 0.909, which means 90.9% of the teachers have an IQ less than 125. To do the norm CDF on the TI-89, alright, so on the TI-89, to find norm CDF, you hit the catalog button just like the TI-83, except the norm CDF is actually under flash apps. So I need to hit F3, and I will find norm CDF. I'm going to hit the N button, which is above the 6, and norm CDF is right here. So I hit norm CDF. Don't worry about the TI stat dot, that doesn't mean anything. I'm going to do norm CDF, and then same thing, -4 comma 1.333, and hit enter, and there is your answer, 0.909, just like the first one. So let me screenshot that to keep it on the screen. There we go. And these are the two ways you do normal CDFs on the graphing calculators, whether you have a TI-84 or a TI-89. So this is a TI-89 way. So TI-89, it actually, when you select it, it says TI stat dot, and then it'll say norm CDF. Always do -4 comma 1.333. Boy, I have a bunch of ne'er-do-wells in here. What the heck is going on? And you get 0.909 that way also. Alright, now that I have computed the norm CDF of that, we still haven't answered the question, because the question says how many teachers have between those two IQs. So we know that 15.85% are less than 104, 90.5% are less than 125. So between the two, so between 104 and 125, we simply subtract those two. So I'll do 90.9% minus 15.85% is, we'll punch that in on the calculator, 90.5.9 minus 15.85, and you get 75.05%. And then there are 132 teachers total. There should be a 1 right here. 1. Okay, and then I'll do 0.7505 times 132, and we get 7505 times 132. You get 99.06 teachers. Actually, it's 0.066. So that's how many teachers have an IQ between 104 and 125. You're good? Good, 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 good. All right, same situation. A couple of other questions. All right, teachers who are in the top 20% get a free Snickers bar. What IQ does a teacher need for this prestigious award? All right, now this one is a little bit different because I'm giving you the percentage and you need to come back and find the IQ associated with that percentage. All right, so if I want the top 20%, that means 20% is going to be, I need 20% on the right side. So that's 2.35, that's 13. 20%, the cutoff is going to be somewhere around in here where I want 20% on the top end, which means I need 80% on the left end. Right, if you have a percent and you want the associated z-score, which we will then work back to get the associated IQ, you always look at the percent that's less than what you want. That's what we're looking for. We want the percent less than that. And the way we get the z-score, if you have a percentage, is you do the inv-norm command, and you simply do inv-norm, and we want to be at the point where we are better than 80%. So we'll do inv-norm 80%. Show you how to pull that up. I'll go ahead and do the TI-89. I hit catalog, and I want inv-norm. Again, this is going to be under F3, so I hit F3 to open up that catalog, and I will hit the I button, H-I, and I will find inv-norm. There it is. Whoops, there's inv-norm. I hit enter, and it's inv-norm 0.80, hit parentheses, and you get 0.846. All right, so we get 0.84, I'm going to say 0.842. And this is with the TI-89 right here. So TI, whoa. Yes! All right, just got called on the intercom. And then on the TI-84, inv-norm, as you would have guessed, is in the catalog. So I'll hit the catalog button. Where's catalog? Oh yeah, above 0. Catalog, inv-norm, I need to find the I button. Hit I, and I'll scroll down until I find inv-norm. There it is. And you'll simply do inv-norm 0.80, hit enter, and there you go. Alright, once you get the z-score, our z-score is 0.842, then we use our formula. We know that z is equal to x minus mu over standard deviation, and I'll punch everything in. So 0.842, we'll just ignore all the noise in the background. We don't know what x is, that's what we're looking for, minus the mean of 113 over a standard deviation, which was 9, and then we simply solve that equation for x, which I hope you can do. And when you solve that, you get an IQ of 120.575, puts you in the top 20%. So everybody with an IQ of essentially 121 and higher will get a free Snickers bar. Waha! Okay, then finally, last question. 30 teachers are selected at random, and what is the probability that the average IQ of these 30 teachers is under 115? All right, this is the one where we are now looking at a sample. We're not looking at the whole thing. This is a sample group of the whole group of teachers. And when you do that, your z-score is changed ever so slightly with something called the standard error. All right, everybody is gone now, so it's finally going to be quieter. Okay, I was talking about the standard error. You have to find that when you're looking at a sample. We're only looking at 30 teachers as opposed to the entire group of 132. So our standard error, which we called sigma sub x bar, that's your standard error, is it's your standard deviation divided by the square root of your sample size. So in this case, that would be the standard deviation is 9 divided by the square root of 30. And we'll punch that in the calculator, so 9 divided by the square root of 30, and you get 1.643, and that's your standard error. And you have to find standard error in order to compute z-scores when you are looking at a sample, because the z-score, I want the number of teachers that are under 115, and 115 is not a standard deviation. Even if it was, you would still have to, when you're looking at a sample, you always have to compute a z-score. So now my z-score is going to be 113. Actually, I'll write the formula first. It's x minus standard deviation over your standard error, which is 115 minus standard deviation over standard error, 1.643, and then we get our z-score from that. And you get 1.217, and then to find the probability that the average is under 115, then we will do we'll do norm CDF in the calculator, normal CDF, -4, comma, 1.217, and when I do that, we will get 0.888. So that means there is an 88.8% chance that the average IQ of those 32 teachers is under 115. So there we go. There is some normal distribution stuff, and keep in mind that if you're looking at only a small sample of the entire group, you have to go through and find the standard error, and then you use that when you compute your z-score.